being recorded.
That's right. You heard her. Welcome to the call, everybody. My name is Tim Dameron. I'm with the House of Yah Community Outreach. And I want to welcome Natasha Jordan. And I want to welcome Sean Gray, also here on the call tonight. And they're going to be throwing in their comments. Well, Sean doesn't make too many comments, but he makes the craziest faces. So if you guys want to come on the call, see, there he goes again. If you guys want to come on the call over here, you can. It's going to be meetings.dialpad.com/Yahweh. Okay. Meetings.dialpad.com/Yahweh. Join us. We'd love to have you on the call. And more importantly, I want to hear this whole fraud thing. Natasha, give it to him.
Absolutely. Well, hello, everybody. I hope everybody is enjoying themselves. Today is April the 23rd. No, wait, hold on. The 21st. 21st, yeah, jumping ahead. But anyway, 2025. I just like for everyone to know that we're here for entertainment purposes only, and we're not lawyers, we're not financial advisors. Any of the information shared or spoken about here shouldn't be taken as such. Our intent is never to hurt anybody's feelings or disrespect anyone. We do not promote drugs, alcohol, or violence. So, and tonight, as Tim was talking about, that we're going to be talking about the birth certificate, and you have a class coming up with the UCC. And does that kind of go into the birth certificate and how we use it in the process?
Exactly. That's the sunshine I really want to bring on this. And of course, we'll do that at the end. But for right now, you know what? I want to give everybody the space. You know, I believe everybody has a space, and I believe everybody needs an opportunity. And I'm going to tell you, I've called out, stop it. I have called out David Straight. I have called out Anna Von Wright specifically, and many, many other teachers over the last 9 years to say, please come show me another way. Please come do this. And I'm going to tell you why they don't show up. Because they know that I'll finish every sentence they can. I've done this walk. I've lived this walk. And my students, both these folks that are here tonight, they're both my students. And they're both walking tall today because they have the knowledge and they have the understanding to do what they need to do. Not stand up in the middle of whatever and act like a buffoon and draw a bunch of attention to themselves. No. We do it nice and quietly. This is how we're supposed to operate. You can't be operating in the private if everybody knows your business. Oxymoron number one. Just saying. And, you know, Natasha, what do you think about so, I mean, I posted this picture on TikTok. If you guys haven't seen it, go to my TikTok channel, Real Results, Real Solutions, and also on Facebook as well. And, you know, it's had this little evil guy, and he's got this kind of face like this, and he's got the birth certificate over here, and it says it's fraudulent. And then you got this little guy, and he's over here in a cage with a little cigarette, and he's just sitting there, and he's just fading away into nothing, and the picture's dark, and he's dark, and this is all dark, and it's depressing. Oh, God. Anyway, so what's the message in that? What do you think, Natasha? What are they trying to say? I mean, you know, you kind of woke up a little later in the game, so maybe it's a little more fresh on your mind. Remember, what were they saying about this stuff in the, beginning? Hey, Patrick, how are you, brother? Thank you for joining us. Natasha.
Oh, hey, sorry, I forgot to. Hey, no, the picture kind of scares me a little bit. It's a little on the demonic side, so I would probably just scroll past it. But in waking up, I kind of see what they're wanting to do. But it still seems like a scare tactic on one part, but it really isn't. Whenever I started waking up and people started talking about the birth certificate and the all caps name and you're this person, you're that person, it got really confusing because I feel like I am me, and, I guess what the best thing to do is kind of
where's your identity in all this?
Yeah, for the living person and the straw man or, all caps name, however they do that. And I think once people understand that I am the living person under Yahweh and I can't do commerce, but my all caps name that they've created with my birth certificate, that is actually what I use as an instrument or a tool to be able to do my commerce. But whenever I understood, but before that, it was just really confusing, and it seemed like everybody was kind of like on this angry kind of side, like, oh, they're oppressing us and using us and keeping us in slavery, and look what they're doing
Locking
to
us
us.
up,
And yeah, and it was like they were mad about it, but at the
right?
same, but they
Resenting
weren't,
everybody.
but they weren't doing anything about it other than I'm mad. Okay. um, but
And
on
I never saw anybody benefit from this argument either, by the way. You?
Yeah, no, I haven't. And it kind of goes in that full circle of with the driver's license and the insurance and this and that and the other.
Mm.
Yeah, you want to be free, but I think there's a right way to be free and to be private about it. Like you were speaking a while ago, you're private about it. You're not out there and proud and, well, oh, I can make them, bend over and do this and do that, and because I said some kind of code, okay, or some kind of law from 1800. It doesn't work that way.
It's funny you say that. I was talking to somebody today. I was talking to, I'll just say this, as a friend of Jamie's, and they're in the middle of a divorce situation. They got stuff going on, and they were just really, this friend of hers is really focused on the rules.
Mhm.
Well, didn't get proper service. We didn't get this, and we didn't get that, and well, you didn't get standard service, but you got service. And not only that, after you got the service, what did you say about it? Within 72 hours, nothing. So what we have to understand is that our courts don't operate by the law.
No.
They don't. Sean's all looking at me crazy. They don't operate by law. They don't. And I'll tell you what, Sean, you got a perfect example with your case. Okay. In order to file a claim against somebody, you must be able to demonstrate that you either hurt persons, property, or you had an intent. See, this is what your teachers aren't telling you. Or you had an intent to hurt persons or property. And if you can prove any of those three things, they got you. Now, how do they prove it? Beyond the preponderance of a doubt, right? Or it was right. That's what they say. So beyond a reasonable doubt, they have to prove it. Okay. So how can you prove something beyond a reasonable doubt besides getting into somebody's head and making him say a confession? You demonstrate. Okay. And this is what happens when demons state. Demonstrate. Very similar, everybody. Okay. And the language is not too far away. It really is. It's really not too far away. But this is what we have to learn in our walk. We have to learn to make them demonstrate. Because if you can demonstrate, you can prove your case. Now, how do we demonstrate? I shouldn't even be telling you all this. I'm not going to. You need to come and take the class. You need to come take the class. You really do. I was going to tell you guys, but you know what? I'm just not going to give it away like that tonight. I'm just not going to do it. Am I going to gatekeep tonight? Oh, yeah, because I can. And here's why. This is a 3-hour discussion. But what I want to talk about tonight is who out there can come up and defend this whole birth certificate fraud thing. And I'm going to tell you, I don't think anybody can. And you shouldn't. And here's why. You'll lose. If you face me with that argument, you will absolutely lose. And I'm not being cocky. I'm just telling you I've been down this road. And here's exactly what Natasha was saying earlier. I'm just going to blow it up a little bit bigger. She's on the right track. You have two different kinds of people. You have two people and you're one person. And the reason that you have two people, and you always just think is who you are, but you have two people because we're made in Yahweh's image. Whether you're an atheist, a Catholic, a First Episcopal, or a Second Baptist, or a Mormon, I don't care what you are. It doesn't matter. We're still made in his image, okay? And because we're made in his image, I'm sorry. Because we're made in his image, these demons are really jealous of us, okay? And they don't like that. They don't like the fact that we can go up and they got thrown down and they're stuck here, okay? And they really don't like that. And because they don't like that, they use all kinds of things to attack us. Now, the body made in Yahweh's image, nobody has jurisdiction over this temple but Yahweh himself, okay? So to straighten out the living man argument, here you go. This is where the sheets divide. And I don't care if you're an atheist or not. It doesn't matter. Because every time you breathe, you say the name of Yahweh, whether you want to or not. Even while you're sleeping at night. You do it all night long. And we all do it. Some of y'all like snore and make the windows rattle in your house, okay? Praise Yahweh. I'm glad that works for you. But you know what? Whether you accept it or not, it's what it is. And because of that, the ruler of this world, and that's Satan himself, the ruler here had to create what is called a juristic person because he doesn't have dominion over this.
It's the mark of the beast.
Correct. There you go, Sean. I love that, man. He's always out of the bleachers. That's right. Over there. But he's right. It's mark of the beast. And so they're using this, and actually it's more like a slave collar. I'll go into mark of the beast a little later. You're kind of close, but the mark of the beast is really more of a mindset. It's more of a hand and mindset. That's why the mark can go on your hand or on your forehead, because it's either in the thoughts that you do or it's in the works that you do. This is, if you really want to know the mark of the beast, that's it. And the number 6 is all over the place. You can't even go to Taco Bell without seeing a 6. There's 6s everywhere. Everything's $6.99. Everything's $9.99. And those are just 6s. So like it or not, Satan's running this place. Okay. So he's got a little lease right now. And I think he's got 1,000-year reign lease right now. And his time is almost up, by the way. And we're seeing that. So what happened was, when you were born, they had to create another entity that they could have dominion over. Okay. And this is where the juristic person comes in. You, my friend, are just the surety. So like when the driver's license argument comes around, okay. When we talk about the driver's license argument, and people just think that it's some servitude contract with the state and you're under this and you're under that. And now your family's condemned to die and they're going to fillet you in the streets and whatever else. It's all kinds of stuff they scare you into doing, just like what Natasha was saying. And I'm going to tell you, they couldn't be farther from the truth. Okay. These are real assets. Your birth certificate is an asset. Okay. I know it sounds like you're asset, but it's an asset. Stop it, Sean. It's not nice. I know what you're thinking over there, but this is not that kind of program. We don't talk like that. But it's the title to your asset. There, I said it. God. Anyway, but that's what it is. And if we look up holder in due course, we hear that a lot in this market, right? So if we look up holder in due course, what is a holder in due course? Somebody that holds it. So these people that are telling you, oh, they sold the note, they don't know. They don't know. They didn't call your bank and ask. And Sean here is living proof that they didn't sell his note. He got his note. And instead of running away from it, I'm teaching my students how to go after these things and capture these things because we deserve them. You know what? If these Looney Tunes are going to leave the streets wide open and run up and down like that, you know what? Maybe we're going to get our little Mr. T lunch boxes and run up and down the street too.
I caught the Holy Ghost.
I'm saying, and this is what I'm talking about. This is what we got to be thinking about, you guys. Look, man. And I said this last night. We have a channel, and it's a very popular channel. It's called TikTok. And you know why they call it TikTok? Because it's counting down. It's counting down. It's counting down to the day that it might take it off. Or it's counting down to something. Have you noticed they've been counting down TikTok for like the last year, 2 years? They're trying to get it off there and this and that. So what does that tell you about TikTok? It's tick-tocking down. And what are we tick-tocking down to? We're getting to the end. Okay. And I'm going to tell you guys, don't put your hope in man. Don't put your hope in this false prophet. And the false prophet, he's here. The anti-Messiah, he's here, been here. And he's been here for a minute. We just heard that the Pope died. And he died at a magical 88 years. That's an infinite number. And I've got sources that tell me that he's actually an actor and he's actually somebody else. Really good sources. They got that computer AG software and they're checking their faces and everything and they're finding birthmarks and all kinds of crazy stuff in there. And they're the same people. Who are these actors? When's Morgan Freeman going to die? My God, right? Or better yet, when's he going to age? I'm going to tell you. Everything is not what it seems. These days are showing a lot of things. And things are not what they seem. And still, I've got nobody telling me about the birth certificate. Not a single one of you guys. All of y'all, what are y'all sleeping?
It's worth
they're
millions.
Sleeping. They're probably sleeping, you know, because they stay up till like 3 o'clock in the morning waiting for somebody to say like one sentence, right? And then scare you and tell you that you need to get rid of your citizenship and all this wacky stuff. Guys, no. That is not how we get free, okay? A simple man, that is a simple man's solution to a permanent problem. And what's the problem? Go ahead.
One time I, look at birth certificate and I found my CUSIP number and I looked it up on the market. It was worth $22 million.
Yeah.
Now, how do I get it?
You can't. And the reason why, and Sean, the reason why you can't get it, all right, I'm going to pop everybody's bubble out there. And the reason why you can't get it is because we don't have any money. We don't have any money here. Have y'all noticed that? Well, then go look it up and Google it, please. Or ask Alexa in your kitchen or something. But I'm telling you, we don't have any money. We live in a cashless society already. And what are they doing on TV? Well, pretty soon we're going to be a cashless society. That's right. We're already a cashless society. We have no cash. We haven't. When did they take away the cash, Natasha? When was it? 1964, I believe, right? When they took away the silver. And that was it.
Yeah.
Cashless society. They've already done it. Wake up.
It's just
Stop
all
listening
paper.
to these. Stop listening to your overweight preachers talking with a bunch of smoking lights. Stop it.
I never thought of it that way.
I got to tell you, if your churches like nightclubs, I'm going to tell you the devil's probably in there. What now?
I just said I never thought of it that way. Since they took away silver and gold, it's been a cashless society.
It's just all paper.
And what do they keep threatening to do to us? Go ahead, Natasha. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, no. I was just saying it's just all paper, and we're the ones that give it value with our performance. I mean,
and that's my student right there. Did you hear that? That's my student said that. Now, I don't know any of Crooked David's students that can come, they can call it out like that. I don't know any, not a single one. You know why? Because they're too busy crying about their citizenship. Oh. So let's get back to that, okay? And like I said, this is not meant to hurt anybody's feelings, okay? This is to help you guys. So listen to what I'm saying. This is free. You want to understand how to operate both sides, okay? If you guys were to go buy a car wash or a beauty salon for you ladies, okay? Would you learn how to run half of it or all of it? Would you expect to be successful if you learn how to run just the front counter, just that part in the front? That's it. I'm not doing nothing else. Would you really expect your business to be successful that way? I'm going to tell you no. And you know what? The truth is in the numbers, Sean. The truth is in the numbers, Natasha. I'm telling you, the truth is in the numbers because we don't know. Okay. We spent all that time in school and we don't even know how to do a tax return. Ugh. We don't. General business class, out. Learn how to sign your name. Nope, we don't do that anymore either. Cursive, forget it. What are you doing in there? Children, what are y'all doing in school every day for 8 hours? Learning how to follow directions, stand in line, raise your hand, stay in the box, and shut up. That's what you're learning how to do. And whatever they tell you, you're supposed to go, okay. Because that's what they did to us. Do you know that this week they just, there's a, and it just slipped my mind. Dang it. There's a ruler, some king somewhere. I forget where it was, but he came out and he decided to, what do they call that? Debrief. You know, when they release all the secret stuff and they let the public know what's going on.
Oh, yeah.
He just released this. Hitler, he didn't die. No. He went to Austria and had 2 more children and finished out his life over there in complete hiding. One of the biggest murderers in world history, 600 million, 60 million Jews. He murdered them all. And we just found this stuff out. We just found out that he didn't go out like they said he did. And the skull that they found, they tested out to be a female skull. So maybe he had a little sugar in the tank. No, he didn't. He did not. I'm saying this is what happened this week. And you know what? The closer we get, every time you hear TikTok, I want you to think about that. The closer that thing keeps TikToking, the more knowledge we're going to get. Okay? The Bible says very clearly in the end times, there's going to be an explosion of knowledge. And ladies and gentlemen, this is that explosion of knowledge. I'm going to show you guys how to use both sides. Okay? Are you going to learn how to do everything? No. Okay? Because everybody has different ambitions, different things they want to do and things like that. But once you're done and once you're set up and you know how to run the whole boutique, the whole restaurant, you can do nothing but succeed. It doesn't matter how shorthanded you are. Look how shorthanded I am. I'm always shorthanded. And it doesn't matter. You know, Natasha, you've learned how to run and manage your trust over the last year. And when you say it's kind of like owning a business and knowing how to run the whole business instead of just the front counter.
Yes, it is. Because I have to learn how to, every time I want to spend money, the first thing I think about is, okay, how do I want to pay it? How am I going to get my money back for my beneficiaries? You know, so different ways like that. So I've learned that most of my stuff goes on my credit card because the tax class will teach you how to get that back. I've learned with my performance security agreement that even though I may be able to pay cash for this or that or the other, I need to let the paper money work for me in that different direction, you know, and learn it from there. I've learned how to protect myself being private with my vehicles, my boats, and this and that and the other, my land. You know, so, and then I've learned how to travel and drive the correct way in with all that. So and then at the end, I learned how whenever I'm, you know, with my taxes, my 1099s, my performance security agreements, and this and that and the other, to get it all back instead of just continuously to have to work 9 to 5 and work my fingers to the bone. You know, I'm getting something back from it, you know, and I get to put that back up for my beneficiaries. And then, you know, for whenever they need something, I can provide that for them.
And we do this every year. And, you know, and then, you know, like for me, I went through, you know, a divorce this year. And it was a tough year, really tough year. But because everything was held in trust, even the ones that help themselves, because you know that always happens, no problem. I'll be able to assess it all, send them a K-1. They're going to get taxed out for it. The tax credits go back into the trust account again. and we all get to go back out and play again.
Yeah, and
This
it
is
kind of
really
goes. Yeah, it goes back to, well, whenever I'm in the grocery store, it's like, okay, well, a loaf of bread might be $6 and a gallon of milk or this and that and the other. It's okay because I know I'm gonna be able to get that credit back and be able to provide for my family and do different things of that nature. So I mean, it's actually a wonderful tool once you actually understand how to work it. Like you said, like a business, you have to have this mindset over here of getting your money back and doing that, but you also have to know when to shut it off and be private, and spend time with your family because that's what you're working for. And
well, and that's what you're worth, sure, and that's your value.
exactly. Yeah. So I mean, it's really lovely, and I mean, I enjoy all the classes, and I still take them, as refreshers and different things like that. Because, like you said a while ago, I had an issue with my credit card. I had to get fixed on my credit report. So I had to focus on that class. Or whenever I done my travel and drive, or in taxes. So there's, like you said, there's different
Just a second, I'll
situations.
get to
Well,
that question.
yeah. So I
Okay,
mean.
but you're right. It actually, and somebody is asking me a really good question here. He says I'm tax exempt, by the way, of the VA, and that's awesome. Thank you for your service, by the way. And how would this work for you? Well, here's what happens is, so your taxable income is taxable, but your income may not be taxable, but the things that you buy, that becomes taxable. So when you start moving those into another vehicle, and that vehicle being a trust, then what you're doing is you're operating a business. You're operating your business, your personal business, and you're isolating all of your commercial business to just the trust only. And then you as an individual are just the guy that works here. Okay. So how that benefits you is that your trust will have an opportunity to discharge all of your debt. Whereas right now, you get taxed and the money comes in and then it just goes out, and it's like you have holes in your bucket and you have no way to fill it back up. So are you good? I thought he said something about there's a glitch. But here's what I would recommend. I would definitely set an appointment with me. I have a UCC and trust class coming up. Okay. Go to my webpage. It's houseofyah.communityoutreach.com, just like right here, houseofyah.communityoutreach.com / or that slash that goes this way, workshops. And if you put that in, it's going to take you right to the workshops page. Set an appointment with me. Okay. Tuesday, tomorrow, we've got a couple of appointments. So, I mean, you might have some time to get in sometime tomorrow, and let's spend an hour together. Okay. I mean, we can spend up to an hour together. Doesn't cost you anything. We're completely open to the public. If you need prayer, if you've got a situation and stuff going on, this is the best way to reach us. Okay. Yes, you can call the office number, and yes, you can, crack me up in the middle of the day, but I can't give you an hour of my time. If we set an appointment, I can give you an hour of my time, push that slot away, and just give you that slot so that we can really get a plan. So those of you that are wanting to move in trust, I really recommend that you do it. By moving in trust, this is what happens. Nobody can take your stuff. Okay. Your stuff is not community property anymore once it goes into a trust. That's right. Because it's not yours, and it's not your wife's either. See, I like this idea because it puts both parties working towards one goal, and it's not to line their own pockets. And this is when I think a lot of marriages get into trouble, is that because there's a temptation to be independent. There's a temptation to compete with the spouse or to do something like that. And these things can kind of happen. But if you're taking those funds and you're diverting them to just your beneficiaries, which could be your kids, could be your kids, most people would use their children. And that's what we go to work for anyway. Sean, this is why we kill ourselves. I mean, we just heard Natasha talking about working her fingers to the bone, and she's not the only one that says that. It's almost a cliche in America. But now we can work both sides of the counter, not be scared, and not be run off from this birth certificate fraud. There is no fraud with the birth certificate. It's just that we don't have any money. And some people out there need to really understand that we don't have any money. And because we don't have any money, everything that we do is performance based. Everything. You want to see proof? Go into your bank, look at the sign that says, we guarantee all deposits up to 250,000, right? Well, how did they loan my friend 450 for a house? How did they do it? We talk about that in my classes. We talk a lot about that. And I'm talking about how it's really done, to the point that once you understand it well enough and your lenders don't act right, or they do something that's improper, you have recourse. And in my debt and foreclosure class, I'll show you how I literally foreclosed on my lenders, 2 different lenders, and took the collateral from them. Just straight up took it from them. They didn't have a choice. One case ended up in court. One case never did. 2 years ago, still never in court. No issues, no nothing. Nobody went to jail. And the reason why is because we didn't do anything dishonorable. Now, they, on the other hand, if you guys check out my TikTok page, I actually have a video up where they actually came out and tried to take the car. And then the cops show up, and that was bad. Oh, boy. All right. Let's see. Somebody's mad about something. Hold on a second. Let's see. Hold on just a second. Yeah, there's no intent to do anything nefarious with anybody here. Somebody just flagged my call. You know what? Do me a favor. You guys out there in TikTok land, please share this. Please like and share this on your page. You know what? If you're too scared, those of you guys that got the challenge, that want to defend this, whatever you're doing, if you can't explain your stuff, that was the whole point of all this. It wasn't to make you feel bad. Ah, there you go. Beautiful. Wow, those are nice looking, by the way.
Real money.
Yes, they are. That's exactly what he's holding up, silver coins. This is real money. We don't use real money anymore. We use fake money to buy real money, don't we, Sean?
Yes, I'm not a pauper.
But we use fake money to buy real money. That's what we do these days. So, guys, don't pick on me. Okay? I'm trying to help you. And I'm trying to help everybody out there. Okay? So our intent is not to hurt anybody's feelings tonight by any means. But I encourage you to do this. Please like and share this page. Okay? This content is not for everybody. It isn't. It totally is not for everybody. Thank you so much for the hearts, everybody. Thank you, everybody that showed up. This isn't for everybody. But those of you guys that have woke up, those of you guys that are seeing the cracks in the paint, you're seeing what's going on. Dustin's trying to sell a 1908 quarter. See on eBay. This isn't that channel, man. But anyway, that's real money. I mean, that's just real money, and that's where we got to move. So, guys, in my classes, I'm going to teach you how to understand all of this stuff. Okay. Now, how do I know so much about all this stuff? Well, in 2015, Yahweh woke me up, and I started seeing all this stuff. I started seeing the lines and everything start connecting in my work experience. And then all of a sudden, these people came out of the woodwork. All kinds like Anna Von Wright, and then there were some good people too. Let's see, Brian, what's his name? He's a good friend of mine. Gosh, I feel bad. I can't remember his last name. But anyway, my good friend Brian, he's been out there, and he's got a channel called Tactical Sovereignty. And I mean, he's wonderful. And I mean, I've known him since the beginning, since when I woke up. Actually, I used to be on his show. And, Randy Shannon was some of the other ones that came out and started talking about this stuff too. But as of yet, I have not seen anybody with any real honest to God performance yet. I haven't seen it. And you know what? I had to go out and do it. I had to go out and get that performance. And so I did. Travel the country for 2.5 years with no state plates. We did that. We set up this whole thing and learned how to really manage both sides. And what's really interesting is that when you're all contracted up like this, there's no room for anybody else to come in a contract. See, and one of the things that I noticed that when I went through my divorce, having a trust, family court has no jurisdiction. That means if the trust has a plan that's in place regarding the children, guess what the court has? No subject matter jurisdiction. Why? They've been asked and answered between the parties. Well, now, how is that binding? It's binding because otherwise it would be public interference in a private contract, and that is a tort. Look it up. Look it up, you guys. Public interference in a private contract. So in my classes, you're going to be learning how to contract so that nobody else is contracting around you, man. And if you can recognize these things and recognize what's going on, then we start contracting. Then we start contracting with them. Okay. Then we start pushing the narrative the other way. I was talking to a client today. They didn't have that anyway. Wanted to find out, said that they didn't have that anyway. What did they not have anyway? I'm so sorry. I missed that. Well, they did have it. Oh, if you were talking about the jurisdiction, oh, they absolutely do have it. If you don't have a contract in place, let me tell you something. Wanda, go die somewhere. Okay. I mean, I didn't mean that like that, but I'm saying, God, that sounded bad. I'm so sorry. I apologize. No, I meant like when you die, okay, let's just play along. Go die somewhere, okay? And die somewhere and not have a that sounds so bad. I'm so sorry. But anyway, just play along with me, Wanda, okay? Just play along. Anyway, so you die somewhere, right? Let's just say that you die somewhere. I'm not telling you need to die, but let's clean that up a little bit. All right, that's better. All right. Yahweh forgive. Anyway, so let's just say that you die somewhere, but you don't have a will. What happens, Sean?
The state takes over and starts to distribute whatever to any home.
And guess what happens in family court? Play that tape again. What was the answer? Same answer, man.
The court takes it and takes over, and some of it goes to the judge and some to the state, and if the lawyer wants some, he'll take it.
Yeah. I was watching a TikTok thing today where some lawyer walked into this watch shop and demanded $100,000 for this really expensive watch that she got from her client. And she did. She got 200 grand for it too. I was like, oh, wow, that's a heck of a client you got there. It's supposed to be worth this much. And she got it too. I was like, dang, they were probably afraid that she would get sued if they didn't give it to her. Anyway, so they did. Yeah. But I'm serious. This is what they guys do there. See. So yeah, there's another comment here. He says, yeah, I had a vehicle impounded, no registration here. If I had a contract in place, I'd be good. You know what? Take my travel and driving class. I'll show you how I traveled the country for 2.5 years without state plates. Now, did I stick out like a sore thumb and driving dirty and attracting attention? No. But did I blend in and look like everybody else? No. And that's why those plates still aren't on my car anymore. So I found a better way. And I'm going to talk to you guys how I did it. I'm going to talk to you how I perfected that part of it so I can show you how to do that part. And if you really want to play the game, yes, that's fine. I'll show you how to win that too. But if we take the path of least resistance, you'll go farther and you'll spend less energy trying to kill the Jews than you will trying to win the war. You got to win the war. Okay? Like Hitler was trying to do. Sorry, that was what Hitler was doing. Anyway. Can I get my mom's private estate? No. Because it's private. So now if you had a will that would allow you into that private estate, yes. But without it, no. Now, are you talking about the private SESA-QV trust estate? Are you talking about that one? You're not going to get access to that. Nobody gets access to that. And the reason why is because, why, Sean? We don't have any what?
Performance. Money.
We don't have any money. We have no money. So what would you go spend it on? And where would you go spend it? Even if you could get it, where would you go spend it? Because what we use is debt notes. What are you going to walk around with flipping a coin in the air like one of those cowboys or something and whistling the good, the bad, and the ugly? I mean, come on, man. We want to be able to function. That's not functioning. That's Peter Pan land. That doesn't work. And that's why it doesn't work. I'm not trying to offend anybody, so I hope that's why it doesn't work. I mean, I hope you understand why that doesn't work. That's what I meant to say. Anyway, I'm looking at some of the other comments here. somebody's talking nonsense out there, because it says some contents in this live are filtered to protect the community's experience. Man, you see what happens when you try to help somebody, then they just come out and just try to come cut you down anyway on the cool. Look, man,
Well, you did tell him to go die.
Did I what?
You did tell him to go die.
I didn't mean it, man. It was an accident. All right, man. I was just trying to put my words together. I'm really sorry. I apologize. I really apologize, everybody. Anyway, welcome to the call, Audrey. So here's what I'm going to tell you. Because we don't have any money, it should make you feel completely worthless. No, I'm kidding. No, what it should do is it should change your mindset. Okay. Our mindset right now tells us that it takes lots of hard work, lots of labor. You got to show up on time. You remember all that go to work pep talk that your parents used to give you? That whole list of stuff that goes with it? Yeah. None of that was true. None of it. Because who's getting any of these gold watches? Who's getting taken care of by their bosses these days? You know, unless you work at Bill Miller Barbecue in San Antonio, you're in trouble. They were like the only restaurant chain in San Antonio that continued to pay their workers during COVID when everybody had to wear diapers on their faces. No, they did. They didn't fire anybody. They continued to pay everybody's checks while their restaurants were closed, and they paid anyway. You know why they paid him anyway, Sean? Because we don't have real money. So what are they going to do at the end of the year? Come on, you've been in the class. Never mind.
Tax write-off.
Okay, all right, you're close. Natasha, what are they going to do at the end of the year with those wages? Nope, we lost her. Okay, so here's what's going to happen at the end of the year with those wages. All those people filled out a W-2. This is why it looks like they're just heroes. Like I just said, they're heroes, right? Look, it's the only place that did it because they were taking care of their people. But let me tell you something. They were taking care of themselves, because at the end of the day, those people filled out a W-2, and a W-2 is a Class 5 gift form. And when you fill out a W-2, what happens, Natasha?
Sorry, my phone cut out and I had to come back in.
She needs a Snickers now. No, I'm kidding.
Whenever I fill out the
just
W-2, I'm working for free, more or less, because they're going to discharge it, right?
Correct. And
Okay.
all of the bank credits that they gave them for those hours that they weren't there, because that's what they got. They got bank credits. So all those bank credits they got for those hours that they weren't there, that they were closed, that whatever, it don't matter. They got it all back at the end of the year. So you paid yourself to go to work, sort of. If you're thinking that you got paid in money, you're right. But you didn't get paid in money. We got paid in bank credits. And then what happens is the bank credits sit in the bank, and then you convert it. And you convert those to debt notes, cashier's checks, money orders, all kinds of stuff, right? This is how our system works, okay? I'm sorry. I'm sorry David Straight couldn't tell you this today. I'm really sorry he can't. But because he can't, I will. And that's why I'm here to tell you guys this stuff today, so you guys can get a fair shake on this. I mean, some of y'all put in years of time. Y'all stayed up all night long for weeks at a time, missed your son's soccer games. Your wife left. No, I'm kidding. Your wife, she probably didn't think that. I want to say that. Anyway, and, you know, something probably bad happened. You know, your family probably thinks you're nuts because you stay up all night listening to these crazy people. This is why we come on at 6 and we leave at 7, because that's normal. So this class that I have a UCC and trust class coming up. I got limited seating in this class. Okay. And not everybody that buys gets to fly. So you guys need to schedule an interview with me. If I feel like this class is going to benefit you, I'm going to hear your story. I'm going to hear where you're at. And if I feel like I can benefit, this class will benefit from you, yes, I will invite you to take the class. And if I feel like you're just not there yet, and some people aren't, you know, some people are just still hung up on stuff and they just don't want to get past it. Oh man, wow. That's crazy. I was looking at this comment here on True to Truth. Thank you for joining us tonight. Thank you for all of your comments too. They've been really well appreciated. But we want to take you guys to a place of understanding. Okay. There's a lot of talk about being private bankers out there. Have you guys heard that? You're going to be a private banker. Well, we better learn how the banking system works in the first place before you become a banker, don't you think? Huh? Who knows where the TTNL window is? Anybody out there in TikTok land? I'll tell you what. Anybody there? If you know the answer and you're interested in taking my class, schedule an interview with me. Tell me the answer, and I'll take 50% off the class. And that's in real numbers. Now, the other question is, well, if you know how to discharge, why are you accepting debt notes for your class? Because that's how things function over here outside of Peter Pan land. That's just how things function over here in this matrix. That's how it works. I'm sorry, but it's the way it is. And it's because we don't have any money. Are you calling me? Oh, yeah. I got to tell you, man, there's a lot of questions to be answered about this process, but more importantly, the things that you're really going to learn in this class is how to operate in equity. If we know how to operate in equity, if we can get these cats to demonstrate or not demonstrate, you know what I mean? If you can say, hey, I gave them an opportunity to demonstrate, they didn't demonstrate, and they're supposed to. Now you can start using the law. Now you can start using the law with their performance. And that's what we have to understand in this process. And this is something you guys are going to learn. When you're operating in trust, it's all based on performance. And when you start capturing that performance, capturing those contracts, now you can start cashing them. And I'll show you how to cash them. I'll show you how to put those funds back into your trust or pocket, if you want to call it that. Like when you hear Natasha say, and I'm going to get my money back. That's her. That's how she rolls. Like I'm going to tell you what, when Natasha goes shopping, I bet you she's like a machine. I bet you she's like thinking the past, present, and future before she even buys cornbread mix. I'm going to bet you she's got a plan on how she's going to do it. And you know what? That's a smart woman. That's a Proverbs 31 woman. Those of you guys that read your scripture, go read Proverbs 31. Oh boy. There are two objects that look the same. Let me just play this little game here. There we go. Thank you. And now we're back. All right. And I'm glad I survived all the bad comments. And you guys be nice out there. We're trying to help people. Jeez. Don't be a stumbling block for other people. It's never a good thing to be a stumbling block, because a curse, an undeserved curse, will come back and roost on the person that sent it. Be careful what you do. Be careful what you do. All right. We got something coming into the chat line over here. Let's see what we got coming in. And I do want to welcome everybody that is here on the call. All of you guys. Wow. There's a whole bunch of you guys here in TikTok land. Please like and share. Thank you so much for being here. So what we need to know about the SESA-QV Trust and about the birth certificate is simply this. It is the title to your assets. And know this, the living person cannot do commerce. So these teachers that are telling you to fill out power POAs and saying that you're putting the straw man's name under a POA with the living person can't do that. And here's why you can't do it. The living person can't contract, but the living person can use the vehicle. Okay. And these are vehicles. Okay. So when we start moving things into trust, this is a vehicle that allows you to do something else you weren't able to do before. And that's discharge your debt. Now, how did I learn this? How did I figure this out? Well, I started looking at the profit systems. I started looking at people that go to jail, people that get prison sentences, people that go to bankruptcy court, all of those, and people that even go to the hospital. All of those people have one thing in common. They all experience and they will hear the word discharge. The hospital is going to tell you, oh, don't move. We got to put you in this little wheelchair. and roll you out, even though you just went in for a hangnail. But we got to roll you out for the who, because why? You're in long-term care. And when I learned that somebody could go into long-term care and that these profit systems use the entity, whether it be the jail, the hospital, the court, whatever, to facilitate care or what can be found on Google search? I don't know. I don't know what it is. I'm sorry, Sean.
The TTTNL window you were asking, it can be found in
Uh-huh.
Google search. I
Oh,
didn't
it
think
can't
they
be
would put it
found?
out there. Huh?
It can be found or can't be found?
Damn.
Okay, so Google it. Google it. That's what happens. That's where everything happens over there. So, but anyway, like I said, I want to teach you guys how to run both sides. If you want to really know what the private's doing and what private people are really doing, they're running both sides of their stuff. Either they know how to do it themselves or they've employed other people to go in and do it for them. But either way, that's what they're doing. So if you understand the nuts and bolts of it, then you can direct other people to do those things for you. That's what these big money moguls are doing. That's how they're making it happen. And it all works this way. So understand that the real slavery here and the real deception or fraud is simply this. Make myself a little bigger there. It's simply this. They didn't teach us. Natasha, they didn't teach us how any of this stuff worked.
No,
And
actually, it was
go
done
ahead.
on purpose.
That's
Yeah,
right.
no, it really was. It was done on purpose to actually teach us, like you said, to follow directions, do this, do that. I mean, look at the mask. I mean, everybody just complied with it, you know, really didn't put up too much of a fuss, you know, and then, you know, we learned how to do that with all the applications to learn how to beg for money and not learn how to work our money or
Correct.
the paper money.
Correct. Well, and it's because we're agents of discharge ourselves. This is why we're not able to, this is why we pay taxes. And the reason that we pay taxes and the reason we pay taxes is because we're not able to discharge all of our debt. And when you're not able to discharge all of your debt, they ask for debt notes to discharge the stuff that you didn't discharge. Simple as that. Now, this was set up by design, and it was set up to keep people in their infancy. Have you ever heard that? You've heard that before, right? That means if you're just walking around with just your social security number and you got nothing else in the pan, then you're basically like a little infant. You haven't done anything. You haven't done anything on the commercial side of your life. I'm going to read this. Sean just posted this. It says it can be found. TTNL window can be found. So it stands for Treasury Tax and Lien or Loan Service. And really lien is the proper. Or TTNL, and it's a service offered by the Federal Reserve Bank of the United States that keeps tax receipts in the bank sector by depositing them into the banks that meet certain criteria. TTNL accounts are treasury accounts created in commercial banks to accept electronic tax payments and to disperse treasury funds. This is an alternative to direct deposit or tax payments into the treasury account or Federal Reserve banks. And essentially, what the TTNL window really does is it allows them to have direct access to the treasury to negotiate your treasury checks, but more importantly, to monetize your contracts. Now, this is how money is created. So when you're dealing with a mortgage, the reason why they don't make any sense is because it's not really what you thought it was. It's not really a loan. They lied, okay? It's not a loan because they didn't loan you anything. But here's what they did do. They drafted up a whole bunch of paperwork and they acted as such. And because they acted as such, and then you performed, made your payments, now the paperwork's performing. So we've had some of these guys that will talk about, going out and getting the note before you perform. If you don't perform on the note, your note's worthless, because otherwise we could just generate notes all day long and do this. And I will tell you, on a small level, this actually happens in car dealerships. And in closing, because we have 5 minutes here, keep it
Hey,
regular here.
Tim, can I write up my own promissory note and act as if it's tender?
No. And here's why. No performance. If you wrote up your own promissory note, what performance would you have? That you walk down to the bank? That's not captured on the paper. That's not captured in your note. If you look at your truth in lending statement, that tells you what your requirements are to cash the note, and it tells you how much the note is worth. That's in your truth in lending statement. So it requires your performance. But here's what's cool. After you perform, you get the note back. And if you take my class, I'll show you how to cash it. That's right. And that's worth it right in itself. So this class and my classes are not for people that are schemers, scammers, people that want to get away with something, people that want to, do something nefarious, any of that stuff. You know what? If that's you, man, just flip. Just keep flipping, man, because you're on the wrong show. That's not what we do here. What I teach you is how to operate in honor, and more importantly, how to get accountability from these people, whether it be the courts, whether it be your banks, whether it be it doesn't matter who it is, because I've shaken them all down, and I can show you how the pants come off. I can show you how all this stuff works because I've seen it, and I've seen it happen. And I'm going to tell you, I've had entire towns come after me, really, because of what I teach, because of how I worship. And they haven't done it yet. And that must mean that I'm doing something right. That must mean that I'm telling the truth, TikTok. It must mean something, because longevity is not something that I see with a lot of these teachers. How about, what are your thoughts on that, Natasha?
Yeah, I've been doing this a couple years, and I've seen some come and go, and they can't answer the questions, and they're not even brave enough to get on TikTok and like, hey, come prove me wrong, ask me questions, because they can't answer them. So I do appreciate that, and you doing that and giving people the opportunity to say, hey, I don't understand this. Can you tell me about it? Well, what about this person is saying this? And like you said, no, it won't work. A few minutes ago, you don't have performance,
That's right.
So, I mean, I think you're a wonderful teacher and just great at what you do.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
I don't even know how to respond to that. It like makes my face blush when she says, don't say that. Jeez, it's already turning red. Stop it.
No, but I mean, I really do. You have taught me so much, not only just about on the business side of that, but also on the private side. And just understanding everything and how it works. Like you said, we're not taught this. And it's trial by error. Sometimes, you've done most of it and you're teaching us like, hey, that's not how you do it. Do it this way. This is the correct way, and to get performance and securities and this and that and other, and I think as soon as people realize that you're here to help and not, hurt their feelings or anything like that, then, they'll be able to get in the game and play it as well. So.
Well, I will tell you, I read Proverbs. I read a chapter of Proverbs every day, and I recommend everybody should do it. I really do. And it's because it reminds you of things. Mm-hmm. And one of the things that it says in Proverbs, it says that a foolish man, he'll bite your head off if you try to correct him. He'll go into TikTok and say stupid stuff like that. No, the word doesn't say that, but that it equals that. And the Bible refers to those people as a scoffer. Okay, this is somebody that'll just scoff at you and say stuff to you and put little dumb comments out there just to be disruptive, just to be a stumbling block for somebody. But a wise man, he'll humble himself and he'll listen. And not only will he listen, but he'll read his own mail and he'll check out his own inventory and he'll see if his house is in order or not in order before he says a word. And a lot of times he won't say anything at all. Those are the people I want to talk to. Those are the people that have a promise. And those of you guys that are still scoffing, you know what? You probably just have a little growing up to do. Okay. I know, because I was one of those people. Man, I used to scoff at knowledge all the time. I thought I knew everything. I did. And man, the more I start learning, the more I know that I don't know anything. the more that I really didn't know, the more I really have come to terms with the facts that our education system has done a quite, excuse my language, but just a piss poor job taking care of us and raising us to be, or teaching us how to be adults, teaching us how to manage our affairs. The two generations before us, before Gen X, they knew how to manage their stuff. They knew how to do their taxes. Most of them did. This was something that was taught, and it's not taught anymore. It's changed. So now you have people like me trying to clean this mess up, trying to help. Because you know what? I don't want to see you fail. I don't want to see any of you fail. I want to see you stand up in the morning every day and know I didn't do anything. Know that Yahweh is the one that opened your eyes, woke you up, and he gave you a path to complete. And if you follow that path, he'll give you the desires of your heart. And the desires of my heart were to understand all this stuff. And my obedience to him is why I am where I am today. I give all credit to Yahweh, all of it. I'm not the smartest guy in the world, and I don't have to be. All I have to do is be obedient. And that has taught me so much in life. And it's really, really given me the ability to share this with you guys and to really share how I've done it. And this isn't theory. We're not all just trying to get through. I'm doing this every day. So if you guys are interested in learning how to do this stuff properly, go to my webpage right here, House of Yah Community Outreach. Those of you guys on Facebook, you don't see this, but in TikTok, you guys see it. It says houseofyahcommunityoutreach.com/workshops. That's right. houseofyahcommunityoutreach.com/workshops. Set an appointment with me. Let me know where you are in your walk right now. Man, we'll help you. And you know what? If we need to pray with you, we need to do anything else, man, come on. That's what this is for. I hope you guys have a wonderful and blessed day. We'll see you guys next Monday night, 6 p.m. Central Time. Natasha, do you want to close this out?
Yeah, I just like everybody to thank everybody. It's been wonderful. I've learned a lot. It's been a joy. And Tim, you're always a pleasure to work with. And I hope everyone has a very wonderful and beautiful, blessed night. Thank you for joining us, and good night.
Good night, everybody. Good night. All right, let me